I'm here because I woke up covered in blood. And I had bruises all over my arm, and it's usually from when I've fallen and someone's helped me up. My husband, he used to tell me what I'd done the night before. And I learned when you wake up like that, you just say you're sorry. You just say you're sorry for what you did, and you're sorry for who you are.
So, the girl on the train, how did you first get involved with the project? Had you read the book beforehand?
I knew nothing of the project or the book, and I got a wonderful call from DreamWorks Studios about 16 months ago. I can't believe how fast this has gone by. We had a pretty good run with The Help, and Holly Barrio called me and said, "We've just bought this book, tell me what you think." And I read it, and the next day I said, "I want to do this with you."
Okay.
Then I realized that it was a phenomenon.
I hadn't read the book. I was very aware of it. I mean, it's hard to not be aware of that book because it made such an impact on the world. I spent something like 22 weeks on the New York Times bestsellers list at #1. I mean, it's, it broke records. And so, yeah, no, I hadn't read it. I read the script first, and then I read the book.
I had no knowledge of the book. I was sort of living in a bubble working on a Western film, and I just saw it simply on a bookshelf, and it had the name Girl in the title, so I plucked it off the shelf because I was working with a whole lot of testosterone.
Okay. Brilliant. So that being the case, since you didn't know the story, what was it about the script that kind of attracted you to the project?
I mean, for me, by the time I was approached, everyone was cast, and I knew who was directing it, I knew who was behind it, and it's a really unusual story. It doesn't follow the normal formula of a thriller. It has a very unlikable main character for a start, who's basically messing up everything she touches, and I just thought this is a very interesting journey, and something that you can't really tell was going to happen. Even when you were reading the script, I really couldn't tell who was going to be the culprit at the end.
Yeah, Rachel is kind of blundering her way through.
It's a hot mess
through life, and then it's also all of the characters that are surrounding, all of the relationships that are connected to Rachel in ways that are completely just
some indirectly and
yeah,
all that.
Right.
It was the raw nature of the storytelling of Paula Hawkins. It was how truthful it could be, looking at the depths of despair in human existence, and the fact that was all within the confines or supposed confines of a thriller, with rules of genre, and there. We approach this as a team of breaking the rules or not adhering to them, and to have drama and thriller combined was just irresistible.
I saw someone with Megan Hipwell, but not on Friday night. She was having an affair. She had a lover. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
I thought you didn't know her.
No, but I saw her.
You saw her where?
I saw her from the train. She was standing on the deck with this man.
With her husband, Scott Hipwell?
No, it wasn't him. This man was different, and they were kissing.
Wow, that's pretty coincidental, isn't it? You just happened to be on a train at the same exact moment that a woman you don't know but somehow recognize is cheating on her husband?
I know it sounds crazy.
Neighbors saw a drunk woman in the vicinity of her house Friday night. Megan Hipwell does bear a resemblance to Anna Watson. Mrs. Watson reported that you go to their house sometimes uninvited, and that on one occasion you actually broke in and took their child.
Emily Blunt puts in an amazing performance as in the role of Rachel. Was she someone you always had in mind for the role? How did she get involved?
Yes, I wanted to work with Emily Blunt for many a day. When she expressed interest, that was it. She, absolutely. She could have played Tom for all I care.
Obviously, the novel is originally set in England. Here, it's kind of transplanted to America. Was that part of the decision? Was it always in your mind to have an English accent, an English actress? Sorry, in that role.
The decision to move it to New York predated my involvement, but when I met with Emily, gosh, it was not that long ago. We were talking about that, and as an American in London, meeting with Emily, talking about a story, I realized, well, I should keep her accent because it'll just aid in the alienation that the character of Rachel Watson feels being out of her native land. It's such a horrible place in her life.
Rachel kind of sees you from the train as this kind of idyllic, perfect couple, but it's a lot more complex than that, isn't it?
Isn't it always? It's never as simple as everyone thinks from the outside.
I mean, I think that was what was interesting for me about reading the book was you experience things from her perspective and then they're completely different from actuality. So I think you start to get to know these characters for what they really are, and then seeing just the complete vast contrast between reality and her fantasy.
Yeah, 100%.
Admit that you never even met my wife. The detective said you didn't even know Megan. She used other words, too. Alcoholic. Maybe even mentally unstable.
I'm sorry. I was honestly just trying to help you.
You're Tom's crazy ex. Well, you're gonna tell me that, huh? And now the detective is asking if you and I are in a relationship? You? I would never even get near someone like you. My wife is dead, and you're lying to me. What's wrong with you?
There are a lot of twists and turns in the story. Were there any? Did that present any particular challenges when you were transferring it to the big screen?
Yeah, it's hard. Yes, there were lots of challenges. We got to make it work.
What were the most difficult?
Of course, you know, the fact that for so much of the film you didn't get to see what is driving her. That's tricky. It's a very sparse script. You know, there's not a lot of scenes that connect the dots, which is the blessing and the curse of a film like that. And again, it's when you have the sum of all parts, which is a talented cast and crew, sometimes it can work out.
Rachel, why are you here?
Because I'm helping find Megan.
I don't think you're helping anybody.
I saw your wife with someone.
Megan has a therapist. Is that who you saw?
What happened that night in the tunnel? Tell me the truth.
I read once that when a train hits, it can rip the clothes right off of you.
You were seen in the area that night. Did you murder Megan Hipwell?
No. Just tell me what happened that night.
Why are you here?